So why can't we say no? The most simple reason that I could think of is the fear of social awkwardness. Let me explain. The fact is, we as humans are wired to want to get along with others. We want to be accepted, right? We want to be accepted. We want people to like us. And that's not a bad thing, is it? This is why, whether it's an old friend who invites you to dinner or a boss who asks you to take on an important and high profile project, or a neighbor who begs you to help with the school cake sale, the very thought of saying no literally brings us physical discomfort. We feel guilty, don't we? We don't want to let someone down. We are worried about damaging the relationship. But these emotions muddle our clarity. They distract us from the reality of the fact that either we can say no and regret it for few minutes, or we can say yes and regret it for few days, weeks, months, or even years. The only way out of this trap is to learn to say no firmly, resolutely, and yet gracefully. Because once we do, not only that our fears of disappointing or angering others were exaggerated, but that people actually respect us more. So that now we have seen why can't we say no, let's see how can we say no graciously. When people ask us to do something, we can confuse the request with our relationship with them. Sometimes this seems so interconnected, we forget that denying the request is not the same as denying the person. Only once we separate the decision from the relationship, we can make a clear decision and then separately find the courage and compassion to communicate it. There may be a time when the most graceful way to say no is to simply say a blunt no. But sometimes I am flattered that you thought of me, but I'm afraid I don't have the bandwidth, or I would very much like to, but I am overcommitted, would also do for you. So you don't always have to say a blunt no to their face. You can use some other statements too. The more we think about what we are giving up when we say yes to someone, the easier it is to say no to them. So always try to focus on what you are giving up in order to say yes to someone. As anyone who has ever been on the receiving end of this situation knows, a clear "I am going to pass on this" is far better than not getting back to someone and telling them things like "I will try to make this work" or "I might be able to," when you know you cannot. So always remember that a clear no can be more graceful than a vague or non-committal yes.